Yogakshemam. Corona. India is speaking to flatten, we hope. Registered infections 25 million of all over world, out of which 3.5 million in India. Deaths 850,000 in all over world, out of which 65,000 in India. 10 times this on ground. Vaccines are queuing up, yet we are still figuring out coping with it and the deaths of the dear ones earlier than normal. Not so successful, but no alternative. Mantra continues. Distance, mask, wash, immunity, nutrition, work from anywhere. Let us try to be staying fit with regular exercise, avoiding substance abuse, not being overweight, taking care of any existing disease, and keeping the mind positive. Dr. MBV Prasad continues, healthcare costs for primary and secondary care are not very high. Problem arises in providing tertiary care for emergencies and complications. In these situations, no one can forecast how much treatment is needed and when one can expect improvement and the potential outcome. Generally, the longer the treatment in a tertiary care ICU and use of more support systems means the less likelihood of successful outcome. However, no one wishes to withdraw treatment. People do not want to pay for futile treatment. With the overuse and abuse of antibiotics and disinfectants, bacteria are getting smarter and devising ways to become drug resistant. Infection may be the primary problem or can happen as an add-on to some other disease. Either the disease or the infection can lead to failure of organ systems in the body. The level of support varies depending on the amount of malfunction, like supplemental oxygen through simple cannula, mask, machines into the nose, directly into the windpipe connected to a ventilator, invasive ventilation. ECMO, extracorporeal membrane oxygenator, artificial lungs, lung transplantation. Simultaneously, the original problem of infection or other systems must also be treated and supported. At some point in time, the patient's lungs and other systems must improve and start working again. When the patient is deteriorating, despite the support given, it is natural tendency to escalate the treatment. Like this, kidneys, heart, intestines, or liver may fail and need support. Despite the best will and efforts by experienced doctors, inadvertent injury or complications may arise during the process of treatment. If this happens, it may worsen patient's condition, needs additional treatment, and incurs more cost. Whether the patient makes a successful recovery or not, money must be spent in the effort to save the patient. One of the key purposes of education is to understand and articulate, and this includes communication, reading, writing, and presenting. Reading critically, writing and presenting coherently. Let us focus on this. The point is not English, the point is language. Keeping notes is another that is useful for reflecting and examining ourselves in future. Some 30 to 40 years ago, we used to write letters, long letters to friends and others concerned with us. Now, we have switched over to e-writing. This is helping us to write more often. The writing itself has become shorter and perfunctory pieces. This is despite e-writing help us to keep copies better than earlier. Can we have two-way deep reflective communication back? From data, information to knowledge, experience, emotions. Can the new education policy keep on generation next there? Can we have the foresight and relentless pursuit of a JRD for a national cause, for example, to have a PM relief fund in 1947? Natural farming is one such cause. Marrying livelihoods, missions, and efforts with natural farming and natural living is one such cause. Can we pursue them? Society for Elimination of Rural Poverties 15 million, Jivika mobilized 11 million women, Umed 5 million, Ajivika as a whole 70 million already, and more in urban areas. Mobilized women started to transform their lives as human beings, as entrepreneurs, as leaders, taking destiny into their hands, working with Panchabhutas with love and care. They are hurrying up slowly to take farming and living in nature into their hands and lead us forward. Heart to heart talk with masters continued. Raja, followed by Professor Arul, Professor Gulati. Humility. Ganesh has reminded me of humility, patience, and forbearance, particularly while learning, leading, loving, and caring. Let us remember that we are tiny speck in this giant universe. Our time period is in the light years of existence of the universe. We can get affected by invisible non-life. Therefore, humility is not a chance. It is acceptance of the reality towards a journey of growth and learning, for inner well-being, for resilience. Even then, we need to note that our energy, thoughts, words, and actions have consequences. Our intentions, collective intentions, come through. We need to accept what is there as it is before we intend change. We have reasonable control on ourselves and not on others and their circumstances, and our energy can change circumstances. If we commit to change deep inside us fully, our lives are our own making largely. We are connected. Everything is connected. Time is connected. A small change here and now can make a big difference somewhere after some time. We can only do one thing at a time, in that too nanosecond. Let us be clear, multitasking with multi ends does not exist. We need to give, period. We need to give in to give. Then we grow. Conscious change is to change the course of history. Present energy matters and nothing else. Patience and perseverance is the only way get lasting joy. This comes from leaving a lasting impression on the whole. Humility, humbleness includes confidence, asking questions and guidance, comfort in being uncomfortable, goals, vision, and reflecting on the behavior, beliefs, and practice every day. Humility cannot stabilize, it needs to go up more and more. It is an important life skill for all of us. It is a recognition of self in relation to the universe. It is a liberation from consciousness of self, centering on low self preoccupation. It has been grounded on earth, humus. Humility includes appreciation of one's talents, skills, and virtues, and limits, but remain humble to what one can become. Pride leads to thinking of oneself more. Humility is the opposite of this, where one thinks about oneself less, often never. Humility is surrender to the will of the universe. This translates as practice of learning, service, care, and love kindness. Accepting criticism, forgiving, and modesty are part of humility. Humility is letting the ego go. It is the feeling deep inside, not an outward action. One with universe, feeling one with everyone, every life, and everything. Humility is action without claiming the results. It is not being a doormat. Humility can go together with a fierce resolve, with awareness, openness, and perspective. It is a recognition that we are worth no more or less than anyone else. Therefore, we listen, we are mindful, we are in the present, we are grateful for what we have, we show gratitude, we seek help, we seek feedback, we are mindful of the language. This applies to learning too. In four learning relationships, learning through coaching, co learning, creating knowledge, mentoring, and peer learning. Learning leadership calls for dealing with ambiguity, engaging, capacity to unlearn, learn, team learn, and open systems thinking. Humility takes us to interbeing. Thich Nhat Hanh's How to Love. Understanding oneself and others fully. If our hearts expand, if we have a lot of understanding, we can accept others as they are. That gives us, all of us, a chance to transform. First, kindness. If we are happy, then we can be kind to others. If we are kind, we can understand. If we are understand, we can empathize. If we empathize, we can share suffering and happiness mutually. If we are joyous, we share the joy of love with trust, with respect in ourselves mutually. We are part of the universe with eternity inside. This is reignited by listening. Listening gives understanding, understanding gives rise to interbeing and a virtuous cycle. We cannot exist by ourselves alone, we can only interbe. Humility seeks patience, forbearance, perseverance, tolerance. Can we be cheerful patient? Rapid pace of technology is rewiring humans to be less and less patient. Therefore, are we being rewired to be less humble? We need be careful. Can we practice patience and forbearance then to be humble? Can we practice? We have begun to list 100 plus master development practitioners in India to begin development practice conversations with master practitioners. Legends who made a difference and continue to make in India and outside for the poor, vulnerable, and marginalized of India in a variety of ways and on scale. We will converse with the masters in various ways through various means. Please nominate. We plan to start listening in September. A core team from across the country is coming together. Please volunteer. Let us get together and get going. The way ahead is having humility, being humble, servant leader with patience, serving life, nature, and universe. Earn learning, learning, leading, listening, understanding, empathizing, and offering joy. Being together in humility, with people, with you. In teams, in learning, in leading, in practice. Let us be patient and be within and hurries and takes us. Join us in the world of yoga. Vinaya Yoga for 7L. Krishna confirms he is waiting patiently to receive Anne's associates.